Alright everyone, so you just got Path of Titans and you're looking to get started. I'm going to give you 5 essential tips which I found helpful at the beginning of the game when I started, and hopefully these tips help you guys as well. Okay, so when you load up a map, you'll be hit with this screen. And this is a screen where you select your first dino. I'm going to go through some of the dinos which I recommend to start out with, which is some of the easiest to play. So first we've got the Picno. I'd recommend going for the attack damage on this one. Next up we've got the Aloe. I'd go for the 3% attack damage. And next we've got the Ceratosaurus. I'd go for the 5% armor on this one. And we've got the Dasp. I'd go for the plus 3% attack damage. And if you do want to start an aquatic, I'd definitely go the Spino. I think it's one of the easiest aquatics to play right now. And I'd go for the 10% swim speed. Okay, so we're going to go through both maps here, but we're going to go through Panjura first. Panjura is one of the older maps. It is the oldest map. There's only 2 maps that's here, Panjura and Gondora. There are some modern maps, but we're only going to look at officials for now. So if you're looking at Panjura, you're going to have to know the hotspots. Hotspots are places where a large variety of players go to PvP, and if you're new, you'll be looking to avoid there because if you die, you get set back half of our growth. And you don't want to be dying constantly, so we're going to have a look. So we'll start up the top of the map here. The first we're going to go to is right here. And this is Little Brook Meadow, or LBM. Just off the big lake. This little pond up here and the grassland above it. This normally has quite a few players in, so you'll be looking to avoid there. Next we have got the big lake along with Talon's Point. This normally has a large group of players in, normally aquatics. So if you're on an aquatic starting or on a land dino at Talon's Point, you may want to try and avoid there unless you're in a quiet server. If we move further down, we've got this little place here just beneath Central Waystone, Spineless Lagoon. This has a large group of players in normally as well. Very populated place, provided there's land and water for both sets of dinos, aquatics and land. And if we move further down here, we've got just joining off this big pond here. If we follow the rivers down, we've got Riverland. This is another hotspot which tends to get a lot of players in. A lot of big groups like to run here as well. So those are the main sort of spots you want to try and avoid when on Panjura. Moving on, we've got Gondora here. Gondora is one of the new maps, and as you can see, it's got a lot more water, so you'll be seeing a lot more aquatics around this map. So we're going to go through some of the hotspots here. First off, up the top here, this big desert sort of biome. We've got the golden kelp in the water, and we've got the savannah. This normally tends to have both sets, mainly land dinos on here. You don't tend to see aquatics up there, but it's got a waystone there, and it tends to be a good battleground for land dinos to PvP. Moving over, we've got Hunter's Thicket. This used to have quite a lot of players there. It doesn't tend to as much anymore, but you'll still find the odd player. So if you're looking to quest, I wouldn't recommend here. Moving down, we've got just off Impact Crater here, we've got Grand Plains. This is definitely the most populated place on the map. We've got a big river going up, and the aquatics like to fight here as well. And the Grand Plains, it's a nice grassy area for land dinos to PvP, so I would definitely avoid there. And then moving down, we've got Green Valley at the bottom of the map. We've got one big pond here down at the bottom, we've got a stream running up, and we've got this second big pond, and we've got a waystone at the bottom as well. You normally get quite a few players here as well. It tends to be a hotspot, so I would try to avoid those places if you're looking to quest and starting out on Gondora. Okay, next up we're going to be looking at 2 key elements of Path. We're going to be looking at Waystones, and we're going to be looking at home caves. Starting off with Waystones here. Waystones are these little green markers all around the map, Panjura and Gondora, and they're used to teleport players around the map. So if you go to a Waystone, if you interact with it, you'll see, I'm on a community server at the moment just to show you, but normally it will come up with the whole entire server. You can select them and it will normally give you an option to invite to the Waystone. Now the Waystone does have a cooldown every time. It doubles each time it's used, so just be wary of that. And the Waystones are used to teleport different players around the map. So if you want to group up your friends to go group for a fight, you can use the Waystones, and they're really helpful. Okay, so moving on, we've got the home caves next. Home caves provide a safe space for your dinos to stop when you want to log out, or in fact leave them there. It's fully customizable, so if you come over to this rock, it gives you a few options, so you can customize it, decorate, buy rooms, place decorations, customize rooms. The rooms are quite expensive, but it's basically just a little bit of aesthetics for your home cave. You've also got the exit home cave. Now it will say if players in here, so that gives you a little prompt whether you want to exit the home cave. It's great for new players. And also invite your friends. If you do customize it, you can invite your friends to your home cave, which I think is really good. Moving on to the debuffs and buffs, we'll go with this one, the purple one, which is just left. If you recently log in, you'll have a timer of 50 seconds, and this applies to outside and inside your home cave. It reduces your movement speed and attack damage by twice the amount. And then we've got the blue symbol, which is home cave safety, and that basically makes you invincible, immune to all damage and status effects. So that's just for logging in. And then you've got your well rested buff, which is basically if you're not adult and you need to quest. You see my growth bar at the bottom is purple. This will basically give you 2 times the growth when questing. Or when even applying the trophy. When claiming a trophy, it'll give you twice the amount of growth, which I think is pretty good. And then just be wary when you're outside. A red home cave symbol might pop up. If you're too near the home cave, you'll get something called a home cave debuff, and that reduces your movement speed and attack damage by twice the amount. So don't stay near the home cave too much. It basically stops home cave campers, which I think is a really good addition. Okay, we're going to move on to questing now. Now there's 2 main quests that we're going to focus on here. We've got the red quests along the side there, which are personal quests, which is basically for you to do by yourself, which is going to grant less marks and less growth, because obviously it's a personal quest, you're not doing it as a group. And we're going to look at group quests as well, which are in the green text, and they're going to provide more marks and more growth. Okay, so moving on, group quests are the ones we're going to be focusing on here. Group quests are highlighted in green, and you're going to be made to collect that resource a lot more than the personal quest. They're going to provide a lot more growth and a lot more marks for that quest. And the group quests will specifically be around where the group leader is at. So let's say I'm at Talon's Point here. If my friend is over at Red River, if he groups me, the group quests are going to be wherever the group leader is. So if I'm the group leader, my group quest is going to be at Talon's Point. Okay, the last tip I want to give you guys is make sure you try and get a group. And I'm on about not just a group with a few players. I'm on about maybe a group which you can rely on in fights. Because Path of Titans these days is mainly run by Discord groups, which is kind of sad in a way, but it's just the way it is. It's still a great game, I'd still recommend it to pretty much everybody, but the reality is it is run by huge groups, and if you don't have a group, it's a struggle to play the game. It is pretty much impossible. So I would try my best to get a group. Okay, so little bonus tip which I actually found really helpful is the fish buffs inside Path. There's a number of different buffs that you can get with each fish. I've just caught one here just to prove to you guys that this actually works. So if I eat this is going to give me a buff. So you can see 10-minute buff of bleed and health increased. 20% increased bleeding, healing, and 20% increased health recovery. Now each fish will give a different buff. I'm going to chuck up a list of the different types of fish and the different buffs that they're going to give. This is a really helpful tip if you're an aquatic fighter especially. This is something that I often do now and again, catch a fish before going into fights and stuff like that. It really does help, and it does give you the slight advantage in fights.